The Neuroscience of Laughter, courtesy of the Maximum Happiness course. Think back to the last time you had a real hearty laugh, mouth in a wide smile, eyes crinkled and tearing, breath leaving your body in short bursts if you could get any breath at all. For humans, there are few more pleasurable experiences or greater expressions of joy as laughter. We use laughter as an expression of personality, as well as a communication tool. Laughter starts in infancy, and we've been giggling for our whole life since. In fact, the average adult laughs about 20 times a day. But why exactly do we laugh? How does the brain produce laughter at the appropriate times? And what happens to the brain when we laugh? We start this little mini session asking the question, what's so funny? Have you ever wondered why we laugh? What is laughter anyway? What happens in our body and brains when we laugh? Can we control laughter? Can we laugh on command? Why do they say laughter is the best medicine? This presentation will answer these questions and examine the pleasure-reward brain circuitry in the act of laughing. Definition: laughter is not the same thing as humour. It's the body's response to humour, and so it includes a subjective appreciation of the humour. It consists of two parts, gesture and sound. There are 15 different facial muscles that come into play with laughter. The larynx half closes, creating the irregular air intake or the characteristic sound of gasping laughter. Tear ducts can be activated and the person can appear to be gasping for air. The structure of laughter. To linguists, laughter is like punctuation because it usually occurs at the end of phrases or during pauses. Analysis shows it's very regular in its sound waves, not like speech. The neurobiologist Robert Provine talks about the sonic structure of laughter, which consists of variations on a basic form of short vowel-like notes repeated every 210 milliseconds, with expressions like ha 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 or ho ho ho, but not both types. Laughter as a social activity. The average person laughs approximately 17 times per day. We are 30 times more likely to laugh in a social situation than when alone or by ourselves. Laughter is an effective way to control group behaviour. Think of how it's used to diffuse tempers and shift the emotional climate of a situation. Laughter strengthens relationships. Dominant individuals use laughter more than their subordinates. Gelotology, the brain laughing. The pattern of brainwave activity in subjects responding to humorous materials. Electroencephalograph, EEG, measures brain activity, and researchers saw that the brain produces a regular electrical pattern. Within 0.4 of a second of exposure to something potentially funny, an electrical wave moved through the cerebral cortex, the largest part of the brain. If the wave took a negative charge, laughter resulted. If it maintained a positive charge, no response was given, researchers reported. During the experiment, researchers observed the following specific activities. The left side of the cortex, which is the layer of cells that covers the entire surface of the forebrain, analysed the words and structure of the joke. The brain's large frontal lobe, which is involved in social emotional responses, became very active. The right hemisphere of the cortex carried out the intellectual analysis required to get the joke. Brainwave activity then spread to the sensory processing area of the occipital lobe, lobe, the area on the back of the head that contains the cells that process visual signals. Stimulation of the motor sections evoked physical responses to the joke. On screen we see a visual diagram that illustrates how humour is processed in the brain. The left side of the cortex, the layer of cells that covers the entire surface of the forebrain, analysed the words and structure of the joke. The brain's large frontal lobe, which is involved in social emotional responses, became very active. The right hemispheres of the cortex carried out the intellectual analysis required to get the joke. Brainwave activity then spread to the sensory processing area of the occipital lobe, the area on the back of the head that contains the cells that process visual signals. Stimulation of the motor sections evoked the physical responses to the joke, i.e. laughter. The limbic system. The limbic system is a network of structures located beneath the cerebral cortex. This system is important because it controls some behaviours that are essential to the life of all mammals, such as forming memory and experiencing pleasure. Can you imagine if people could not do these things? What would motivate parents, for example, to care for their offspring? The limbic system comprises the frontal lobe, the thalamus, the hippocampus, the amygdala, the hypothalamus, and the olfactory bulb. The limbic system regulates mood and emotions. It also controls laughter, friendship, affection, and love. Let's examine the well-known expression that laughter is the best medicine. Laughter reduces pain and allows us to tolerate discomfort. It shuts down the stress hormones released in stressful situations. It helps your blood vessels function better. It acts on the inner lining of blood vessels called the endothelium, causing vessels to relax and expand, increasing blood flow. In other words, it's good for your heart and brain, two organs that require the steady flow of oxygen carried in the blood. Let's conclude this session with a little bit of laughter. Two hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. He doesn't seem to be breathing and his eyes are glazed. The other guy whips out his phone and calls the emergency services. He gasps, "My friend is dead. What can I do?" The operator says, "Calm down, I can help. First, let's make sure he's dead." There's a silence, then a gunshot is heard. Back on the phone, the guy says, "Okay, now what?" Thank you for watching this short video about laughter in the brain, courtesy of the Maximum Happiness course. I hope you found the information useful and that you now have a better understanding of the neuroscience of laughter in the brain.